Hello, and welcome to Lost in Time, a series where we delve into the lost railway history of the ACT and go exploring to find what has survived the test of time. In today's video, we're tracing not one, not two, but three railways. The quarry tramways of Yarralumla brickworks, Mount Mugga Mugga, and Mount Ainslie. During the construction of the federal capital, temporary 2-foot gauge tramways were actually quite a common sight. They were used in the construction of Commonwealth Avenue Bridge, Western Creek Sewage Works, and Cotter Dam. However, these railways only lasted as long as the construction site, usually only a few weeks or months, and left no trace upon closure. Today, we'll be focusing on the three semi-permanent tramways in the ACT. With the expansion of the Yarralumla brickworks following the First World War, a network of portable 2-foot narrow-gauge track was established in the clay pits. Worked by hand, the tipper skips were loaded with clay and then propelled back to the kilns to be turned into bricks. It's not clearly recorded when the track was abandoned, though it's possible some parts of it remained intact, if unused, up until the closure of the brickworks in 1976. Today, any evidence of the narrow-gauge line in the clay pits is locked behind a tall security fence, save for a single remnant lying nearby. With the brickworks area due to be redeveloped into housing, it's unlikely that the clay pits will remain intact much longer. However, all is not lost. At the Canberra Railway Museum, we have preserved a short segment of track recovered from the clay pits decades ago, and now proudly integrated into our exhibit on the construction railways of Canberra. Not far away, at Mount Mugga Mugga, the rapid growth of the ACT following the war raised demand for suitable rock to make concrete and road surface. A quarry was established near the summit of the hill. A network of 2-foot narrow-gauge lines were built, able to be lifted and moved with the quarry face. The hillside was steep, and roads were not a viable transportation option. So a rope-hauled cableway was built, bringing wagons from the quarry down to the stone crushing plant at the base of the hill, off a side road from Mugga Lane. From here, the crushed stone was transported by traction engines and later trucks to wherever it was needed. Initially worked by hand or by horse, a petrol-powered tractor was built to transport the wagons between the quarry and the cableway. In 1930, the increasing silica content in the rock was overworking the crushing plant and posing a serious health risk to the quarrymen. So the quarry was closed, demolished, and the equipment relocated. Today, while the quarry site can still be seen on Google Earth, it's not publicly accessible. However, the surviving concrete foundations of the stone crushing plant are still evident. The Mugga Mugga quarry was relocated to a new site near the top of Mount Ainslie, where the high iron content in the stone made for suitable road surfacing material. Most of the equipment from Mugga Mugga was reused, albeit modified. The stone crushing plant was re-erected minus its roof near the base of the hill. The narrow-gauge tramway was built from the quarry face, winding around the hillside for about 200 metres, to a site above the crushing plant. Rather than the original cableway from Mount Mugga Mugga, the stone was now transported to the crushing plant by a conveyor belt. The Mount Ainslie quarry opened for business in 1932 and closed in 1939 when it was found to be cheaper to purchase stone from outside the ACT. Today, the Mount Ainslie quarry tramway can boast the dubious claim of being the most complete abandoned railway in the ACT. Starting at the bottom of the hill, the foundations of the crushing plant can be found at the end of the old access road. The conveyor has long since been demolished and lost beneath land clearance for power lines. Climbing up, the formation of the railway survives as a walking trail, bringing us to the quarry. In the quarry, a length of rail can still be found jutting out of the earth. The most complete relic is once again not at Mount Ainslie itself, but at the Railway Museum. a wheel set and tipping mechanism from one of the old skips, now displayed alongside the track taken from the brickworks. With the demolition of the Mount Ainslie quarry line in 1939, narrow gauge construction lines in the ACT were consigned to history. Fortunately, plenty of relics have survived to tell their story.